have the right to know champions, presented by Councilmember Berg.
Chair members, I wanted to play the theme song to the Magnificent Seven. And as that we're playing, I would read off. We have the Magnificent Seven. I just want to let everyone know that Walter Ritte from Molokai could not make it today. Courtney Bruch from Maui could not make it today, and that would then make up your Magnificent Seven. So with us, we have Magnificent Five. And Dr. Melissa Yee is a champion with the Seeds of Truth, with a TV show and other entities to bring awareness and education about the subject matter: genetically modified organisms, bee colony collapse, certification of egg lands to keep organic farming. She came out and worked very hard on the island of Oahu with our neighborhood boards, and she helped champion all 4 boards in Council District 1, Ewa Beach, Nanakuli, Maili, Kapolei, Honokai, Hale, Makakilo, and finally Waianae. And those 4 boards took a position that the people have a right to know, and they passed whereas clauses telling the city council to take heed. And so every board in my district has been educated on this, and thank you, Dr. Yee, for starting the ball rolling. She's gone to other boards throughout the island, and from my understanding, you're going to go in the circuit and get everybody educated, and maybe one day the city council will take heed. Hesh Goldstein has a health talk radio program, everybody. It's on Saturday mornings. He's been doing this for decades, but 10 years ago, he started talking specifically about genetically modified organisms. And the callers, the people calling in to his program, is so popular that he decided he would keep his radio program sponsor-free. He didn't want to have the implication that anything, anybody, anywhere, anyhow, that he had an ulterior motive, that he was trying to promote something on his own accord. So what Hesh Goldstein has done is he's come here and testified each and every twist and turn, members, and he also, I had 6 town hall meetings, 6, and he came to many of them and helped educate. So if you haven't seen Hesh Goldstein in action, if you're not paying attention Saturday morning on the radio program, you can always go to my website and look at these YouTubes. Mary Oyama. Mary got involved with genetically modified organisms because she had a family member that was keen to what was in the foodstuffs. And by being keen, I mean you got to read it. Sometimes your health, your ability to thrive is dependent upon what's knowing in your food. And Mary Oyama says, she says, I'm just a housewife thing. She's a teacher, but her attitude's been like, gosh, I don't have a doctorate in this field. But I'll tell you what, when she came to the majority of the 6 town hall meetings I had, and then helped both the Ewa Neighborhood Board and the Nanakuli Neighborhood Board pass their resolutions, Mary Oyama, when she came and gave those presentations, she talks about the fact that President Obama in 2008 promised all of us that he would champion this on the federal level. So when Mary was testifying here at the council, she made sure to tell everybody out there listening that the reason 12-57 Floor Draft 1 telling the federal government, FDA, to take heed was moot. That the issue is no longer at the federal level because President Obama and his administration is not going to move. They're not listening. So Mary Oyama, thank you for taking it at a grassroots level and bringing it bottom up, okay? Because it's not coming top down. From Kauai, Jeri Di Pietro. And Jeri has, if you're on Facebook, you need to friend her. She talks about all the folks that aren't getting in the media who are getting cancer and ailments from the dust from genetically modified organism farming practices. And she is leading the way, trying to help educate everybody here locally that what's happening on her island is very serious. And so she's flown here, she's testified, and she was the woman that said all the things that I don't think any of us can pronounce, all those words about what's in the soil and, on the corn and what's happening. Very technical, very scientific, but Jeri coming from Kauai today is a big honor for all of us. That's how important the right to know is. Thank you as well for all your efforts and your championing this movement. Dr. Hector Valenzuela. This is a doctor at UH Manoa, and he's in a particular program, and I don't want to get you in trouble, sir, because you're employed by the University of Hawaii, and he's been very cautious to make sure he only gives the facts. So when he's talking genetically modified organisms and what's going on from papayas to whatever else you're eating, he gives the facts, and the facts are overwhelmingly in favor that our health is dependent on the right to know. So, Doctor, you've come to many of the 6 town hall meetings that we have. You two are on YouTube quite a bit. But if you don't know this man, please do, because if you're looking to pinpoint this at the University of Hawaii, he's your contact if you want to get more information on genetically modified organisms. The other two, Courtney Bruch from Maui, big time on Facebook organizer. She's come here and testified. She couldn't make it with us today. She's a champion as well. And of course, Walter Ritte, his background is the following. When he comes from Molokai and he comes here and talks about genetically modified organisms, he said, look, we're suffering on Molokai. And he'll tell you firsthand that every time the tractors are going in the soil with genetically modified crops, it's creating an outcry in Molokai. And he's coming here pleading with this council because the other 3 counties all unanimously said, we want the right to know and stop using farmland for chemical seed production and use farmland for feeding people. And that was Walter Ritte's message. So with that said, that's the Magnificent 7 before us today. And now to close with the Just Label It movement in Hawaii has been led by these Magnificent 7. They are justice seekers. They've utilized their expertise in research to opine as individuals that genetically modified foodstuffs may have an adverse impact on the ecosystem, and that public awareness of the introduction of genetically modified organisms into the environment is worthy of monitoring, and findings from such research of benefit to all consumers. Genetically modified organisms known as GMOs are an artificial creation rendered by science in the guise of chemical companies to attempt to enhance the yield of foodstuffs and other commodities for financial gain, regardless of the negative impact they may have on the health of consumers and ramifications that involve environmental degradation and irrevocable harm to the food chain. Council District 1's 4 neighborhood boards, as I mentioned earlier, all passed this right to know movement. They want it labeled, and they asked this council to concur. Therefore, the City Council hereby recognizes the achievements and dedication of Walter Ritte, Dr. Melissa Yee, Dr. Hector Valenzuela, Hesh Goldstein, Mary Oyama, and Jeri Di Pietro, and Courtney Bruch in their efforts to advance and champion the public's desire to know if GMOs are in the products they consume, and wishes them success in all your future endeavors. Mahalo.